Zombie apocalypse.
Probably like to take a second to talk about some products. So I'd like to talk again about Simple Life Designs. You can find Simple Life Designs by searching on Facebook, Simple Life Designs. You can have customized tumblers made, Simple Life Designs. Thumbs up for that. Anything outside of Simple Life Designs, we're going to say that Poppa B is going to give that a thumbs down. Listen, Simple Life Designs can make you t-shirts, stickers, decals, car stickers, wine glasses, you name it, fully customizable. She can do a lot for you. If you search Simple Life Designs on Facebook, figure out what you can have done customized specifically to what you want. Make it Simple Life Designs, where things are simple. Poppa B says, thumbs up for Simple Life Designs. Made for and sponsored by Poppa B. Welcome back to this episode of the Poppa B Show. I've got Rocco back for his second visit.
Hey, how's everyone going today?
So today we're going to talk a little bit, I think we made mention in the last episode I had Rocco on, diets, fat addiction. I was going to get him back a little bit to talk about weight training, building mass, just getting in and doing some exercises. Like always, I have a bunch of cheat sheets because the shit doesn't stick up here. Rocco, again, tell me you're certified in what things?
I'm certified in aerobics, kickboxing, and personal training. The International Fitness Association, IFA.
So we're going to pick his brains a little bit, and you can look at him. He does a lot of exercise routines, does a lot of cardio. So he's really been in some competitions earlier in his life, but he still continues to stay physically fit. That might be a blooper, but we're just going to keep rolling because I had some technical issues show up on my screen. But it looks like the camera's rolling, so that'll be a blooper reel. So we're going to start talking a little bit about isometrics, negative reps. And we're going to talk a little about mass building. We'll talk about cardio benefits. And I'm going to get Rocco to try and get me a routine that when this show airs, of course, you're listening to me now, it's going to be down in the comment section. So we're going to get him to put together a little routine for beginners out there. So the first thing I want to talk about is isometrics.
What do you want to know about it? I mean, pretty much if you're familiar with it, what made you want to decide to add that? I mean, are you trying to add isometrics to you?
I'm looking at just a little bit as far as do you think isometrics is a quality exercise because you're really just isolating a muscle, a group of muscles to where that you're really not doing exertion as far as, lifting and putting the weights down. Isometrics is going to isolate the core, really not hyperextend the muscle and just basically not even use the joint. It's just going to promote an exercise that will isolate that particular muscle group and build strength. So
well, you're talking about isometrics. What I'm asking is why are you planning on adding that to your training? Just out of curiosity, was there a benefit? Are you trying to alleviate injuries? You'd made mention about your joints and that,
yes,
that you didn't want to damage your joints and everything. And what I find is isometrics are fine. Isolating muscles are fine, but your basic isometrics, keeping constant tension and fighting the positive and the negative resistance in each of those exercises. I find myself, I don't really use a lot of isometrics. I'll do a different kind of isolating my concentration type of lifts on my weightlifting. But I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It's just that's not one of the things that I promote.
Right. So, all right, with that being said, so as we get into these groups, you got to understand that when you start to do different types of routines, like isometric would be a routine, mass building would be a routine. Isometric is someone that's really got a lot of maybe joint issues and stuff like that. Like I live with lupus, so for me now, the less range of motion sometimes, the better. So isometrics would be good for somebody like you. And I'll read off this card and I'll have Rocco put a little bit more into it based off what I read, give him a little something to shoot at here. Isometrics, basically, he already said it, are contractions of a particular muscle group. The muscle does not noticeably change length, so you're really not extending your muscles, and the affected joint doesn't move. So I'm not really going to be using my elbow joints really to get at my bicep. There's different routines or exercise movements that you could do, or not so much movements of just isolating a body part. And it helps maintain strength and can build strength, but not effectively. Hence the reason why he doesn't believe in it.
Although there's a reason why your top athletes aren't doing it. I mean, you will add some stuff in. Don't get me wrong. There's always a place for isometrics.
Right.
But when you're looking for overall strength gains and or muscle gains, you would use isometrics as a sort of a secondary or a third type of exercise to what you're going to develop. So if you're an Olympic weightlifter, you're doing mostly full body exercises. You're not so much concentrating on things. If you're sports specific, you're working on exercises that are specific movements to your sport. But isometrics can be used in the workouts. It's just I wouldn't base a whole fitness routine off of isometrics.
Right.
But it's a good thing to add, like at the end of a workout, just to stress the muscle a little bit more.
Right. So that addition, what he's talking about when you start to look at we keep talking about isometrics, it'd be like the Roman chair, a standing calf raise without going up and down. You're just kind of in the up position and holding. A sumo squat where you're standing, wider than shoulder length, 45 degree feet out. Is kind of hunching down and like you're getting ready to attack a sumo wrestler. Be me in about another 20 years.
And what it will do is, like, say you're locking into a position with your bicep and forcing it in that area without having to move it back and forth, forcing extra blood into that muscle. And what that's supposed to do, in theory, pushing that extra blood there will help shape that muscle a little bit better as well.
Right. And I know a lot of the people that like go to maybe like Planet Fitness and all that stuff. Not a plug there for Planet Fitness, and I'm not being paid to say their name. You see them in that little room and they're doing planks, side planks and all that. That is basically isometrics.
Now when you're talking about working your core, isometrics does play a good part in that. I'm glad you brought that up. I'm thinking overall musculature of your arms and your legs and everything else. But when you're doing planking, like you were saying, that does help your stabilize your muscles. So if you can get used to planking for a couple minutes, say in the push-up position or other various positions they have there, that will help your stabilize your muscles. So that'll always, like I said, it's a secondary or a third type of exercise to add to your routine.
Next thing I want to talk about is negative reps, the benefits of doing the negative reps. I know when I was big into it, that was the kind of thing that someone showed me when I was younger, and I stuck with it. So, I mean, I have it listed here, and again, I know from the benefits of using negative reps. Negative reps are a great way to add more intensity.
Yeah, your muscles work both ways. It works in the contracting and releasing. So like if I'm doing curls and I'm curling up and I take my time really slow letting it down, that's when you're working your negative. And what that does is it helps stress and it helps work going in the opposite direction. It's a good change up for your muscles. In fact, you should always take your time on going down. Now, true negative workouts, we would use heavier weight than what we normally would use. Say we were doing bench press. We'd use a heavier weight towards the end of our workouts and put more weight on there, and we'd try and go down really slow as we can. Then we'd have someone lift the weight off of us to the lockout position. Then we'd go real slow down again, and we'd do a couple sets of that. And that's right. Working that way, it just helps add extra stress to your muscles, and your muscles aren't getting used to it, so you're throwing a whole bunch of different things at it, and that helps stimulate growth and strength.
Right. So on that, it's basically subpar to what I was going to read here on my other cheat sheet. Both positive, which is concentric, and negative, which is eccentric. Eccentric. That's what they use that for other shit too, right? Both those contractions in training confer with strength gains and in muscle. But the recent studies have shown that, have demonstrated that eccentric contractions are particularly more effective in adding that mass because it's that you're actually, the throw up is the easy part, but coming down and holding is stressing the muscle out more. From the study that I actually looked at today, I was like, I knew that, but I just didn't know that they're saying it has more benefit for the eccentric or the negative portion than the actual positive or lifting.
I'm not familiar with the study that you read, and you will get studies that will promote one exercise or one style over another. I'm not sure what the study you read. I do know that doing negatives, it works, and we include that in a lot of different training. I'm not sure as far as what's better or what's not better. It depends on who's doing the study. Sometimes research that you use might be biased. It's not always an unbiased world out there. If you want true unbiased, you have to actually look at everything, make sure the people who are writing the study aren't trying to favor something else. Like when vegans put out their little studies and lab reports and everything, you got to be careful with them because it's not always biased. In fact, it's never biased with a vegan. Vegans' main goal is to make sure you're not hurting animals. So they don't care what they're putting out there on the internet for you as long as they're saving animals. Understand? Go ahead.
That kind of goes back to the whole diet's fad is fiction. Everything's on the internet, and then it's not always true. And there's just a lot of believers out there that just get in line like sheep. So again, research always will be biased, and then on one end it'll say it's bad, on another end it'll say it's good, and then you're sitting there scratching your head unless someone else, like a movie star, says, oh, this is great, and then everybody lines up.
Right.
All right, so that will kill it for my negative reps. All right, I'm going to talk something that's going to hit close to home. I'm just going to say mass building, building mass, and I'm really just going to let you run with that portion of it for right now.
Well, when building mass, it's what most younger guys want to do. They want to build a lot of mass, and that's their main thing, to be bigger and stronger. And there's only one way to get bigger and stronger, and that's by training heavy and eating extra. You're not going to gain extra mass if you're not getting enough calories and micronutrients, or macronutrients, in order to rebuild that muscle. So you want to start lifting heavier. And I think the best mass range for weights is right in between 8 and 12 reps. That's where you get your most muscle development at. Like, if you're going too light, I mean, you can get some great form and everything's good, and it's always great to throw some stuff in towards the end. But keeping your rep range between 8 and 12 seems to be the best mass building effects that you'll get. Excuse me. Go ahead.
So basically, it's odd because I sit here and I'll make sure that I have everything written down so I can hit the topic, and I'll feed him, because 9 out of 10 times I'll feed him and he's reading my cheat sheet or my index card. Basically, it seems right from my hands. So I'll go off my 9 bullet points. It says, here are 9 ways to help train or build mass. Increase your training volume. Focus on eccentric phase. Decrease your rest between your sets. The screen blanked out, so he's pointing, and I forgot to fix the timer, so there it is. That's no bullshit. Decrease the rest between your sets and your rest intervals. To grow muscles, eat more protein or eat the right foods. He was already kind of saying that. Snack on...
Can we do on riding? Casein protein?
Yes,
yeah.
Thank you. So, see, I don't know what it is.
3 different protein. You got your caseinate, sodium caseinate kind of protein. You have your milk proteins, which are split. Basically, they're caseinate. You have your whey protein, which is curds and whey. You're familiar with that little
right.
curds and whey? Right. Well, the curds are the casein protein. The whey is the liquid part of the protein, and that's how they sell the protein powders. So,
see how that works.
Casein protein, it clumps together inside your system and takes longer to digest, so it gives you a slower release of protein that gets into your bloodstream, where whey is a little bit faster. It oxidizes faster as well, but it's in and out of your system. So a good combination protein is usually ideal, like when you eat real food, real meat stuff.
Meat.
It takes a little bit of a good period of time to get through your system.
Like a little kid, every time he says the word meat, I giggle because I like eating meat. Get more sleep, rest, and then use creatine is what they're saying in a lot of stuff that I've used creatine. I drink creatine drinks.
Yeah, creatine's involved in your ATP processes and everything, but what bodybuilders and people in sports that try and get stronger, what it does for them is it allows each individual muscle skeletal cell to soak up a little bit of water. And you think of all the billions of cells you have in your body. If each cell builds up a little bit extra water, well, you're going to get a little bigger. And you're going to get a little bit stronger because your increased workforce. It's a little bit bigger. You can lift more. So you're heavier, you're bigger, and you're stronger. And that's really good to have during a mass phase. So.
And I have another one here that's questionable. I don't know if it'll ring a bell with you. I was reading it, and I was trying to figure out why they put it in the top 9 reasons top 9 things for mass building. HMB.
HMB is basically, way back when that first came out, it was, I want to give credit to Bill Phillips and AES. I'm putting out HMB, and it's a long word.
It's 22 letters, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, if you have it written down, you can read it out.
I'll try and read this out.
Go ahead,
so
pronounce
if you can get this in Scrabble, you fucking win.
HMB is all you gotta say.
Yeah, HMB. Hydromethyl butyrate.
Yeah. What HMB does is it allows you, when you're in a dieted state, and you don't want to lose a lot of muscle tissue. So what HMB was put out there for was to keep people from losing their muscle mass when they're dieting, and it's to hold on as much muscle as you can. In fact, I believe it was it betagen, phosphidine or betagen? I'm thinking it might have been betagen, which was the combination of creatine and HMB. So it would just keep your body from breaking down. The supplements at that point in time, you were looking for the best supplements that can mimic the effects of anabolic steroids. A lot of times when athletes use anabolic steroids and they go into a dieting phase, they can hold on to a lot more muscles. Hence your bodybuilders on stage, when they're up there, they diet down and they hold on to a lot of that muscle that they have. And if you don't have that, you're going to lose a lot of muscle because your body always burns what's easiest for them to burn. Your body's fastest fuel source, besides simple glycogen stores, is muscle. And it always wants to eat your muscle. I don't care what diet you're on, whether you're high fat, low fat, high carb, low carb, high protein, low protein, your body's going to take away its muscle. That's just what it does. So that's why we always try and get as much protein in there as we can to keep that from happening. But HMB was used for that, yeah.
Perfect. Again, here's my card. So in a sense, when the body breaks down leucine, or technically amino acid, this HMB helps build the muscle and maintain the muscle mass. Exactly what he said. Boom. And I can't read half my cards. All right, so we're going to talk a little bit about cardio benefits. In your routine, I know that sometimes for maintaining, where do you see cardio benefits in a mass building routine?
Well, cardiovascular health is what you're looking at. And it's very tricky when you want to add cardio. And the different types of cardio, depending on who you are, people have their great debate. A lot of people, they like fast, high intensity training type of cardio. Some people like slow, slow burn kind of cardio. When you're working out for mass, you don't want to get super out of shape, but at the same time, you don't want to be doing too much extra cardio so that it's going to keep you from, gaining your muscle. And when you overtax your body, your body's not going to put on as much muscle as you want. Like your main power lifters, all they care about is getting bigger and stronger. They're not really running at all, and they're getting really heavy. Some of them have problems because they got to eat so many big meals, and it's hard for them. They got to wake up in the middle of the night and eat just to keep that mass going. So I would suggest against that. And you regular lay people out there just trying to get bigger, go ahead and do more of any kind of cardio you want, high intensity, or if you just want to go out and walk for an hour, about 3 times a week. It's good to maintain cardiovascular health, because it doesn't matter how big or how strong you are, how cut and how ripped you are. It doesn't matter on the inside of your heart and your arteries and stuff. If you're building up a bunch of plaque and fat and it's hard for that blood to go through, you're just going to die. So, you might be the best looking guy in the casket, but, what kind of trophy do you get there? So.
Yeah, you don't. So again, I'm going to read over the bullet points that I had on here. Of course, if you're trying to build mass, number one, it increases your exercise tolerance, but it kind of preludes into number 2 for building mass. Number 2 says reduction in body weight. You don't want that. So, you'll increase your exercise tolerance as far as cardiovascular goes, but it's a reduction in body weight. So if you're trying to build mass and you're doing a ton of cardio, don't do it.
It will. Doing it at least about 3 times a week. You should be doing that just for standard health. All right? And doing it 3 times a week isn't enough to cause a problem with you. In fact, increased blood flow should help shuttle macronutrients in and out of your muscle cells. So doing about 3 times a week. If you're one of those people that want to go out there and do cardio every day, well, unless you're eating extreme mass amounts of food, you're going to end up hindering your muscle gain. So I would suggest, again, I would say don't do that. So.
All right, and he already said this too. It's a reduction in blood pressure, increase in good HDL cholesterol, and a reduction in bad LDL total cholesterol. So cardio is good for the body, good for the heart, but in a mass building type of environment, less is more.
Right.
All right, there we go. The next question, I'm going to pop to him, let him answer it, and then I'll go off of a brief study, but I'm going to take his word more than the biased opinions of what I'm reading on the internet and my own personal experience. Exercise, you think, is more beneficial in the morning or at night?
That depends on who you are. In fact, the most benefit you get is doing the exercising. And so whenever you can fit that in, some people, they go to work extra early in the morning. They can't work out, so your only choice is to work out at night. Other people are opposite, and if you don't have a job and you're independently wealthy, well, you can pick any time of day. But if I don't have a job, I'm going to get my workout done in the morning. Now, the reason why I would do that is so I have the rest of the day to do whatever. If I don't have a job, must mean I'm rich or something. I can just, get my workout in, then go on my yacht and play around or whatever. Or unless I'm homeless, then I'll do my sit-ups and stuff out there on the sidewalk before the sun gets hot. And then I'll find a tree to hang out underneath. So, yeah.
Gotcha. So, I mean, in a nutshell, that's the best thing outside of what I read, because everything I read was biased. Because they were saying, all right, well, they're trying to, a lot of people are saying that exercise is more beneficial in the morning because then it energizes your metabolism, so that way your digestive system, it gets your heart going, and it just kicks it in so that way you're burning more calories throughout the day.
And also depending on what you're eating. If you're in the intermittent fasting and you want to burn a little bit extra fat, whenever you apply that, if you want to do your workout while you're still fasting to burn more fat, that's one benefit. If you want to wait until you eat and then do your workout to get more stuff to build muscle with, well, so you got to play around with things. It's not rocket science. It definitely isn't. Mr. Olympia wasn't the guy who sent the rocket up in space, but he was a guy who was really muscular. Mr. Olympia is a blank name for Mr. O, and there's been, I think, 20 something of them. But anyway, you just lift when you can. Work out when you can, whenever it suits your needs. Don't make it any harder than it has to be.
And that, in a nutshell, was kind of what the program was about today, was about different types of routines. So now I'm going to let Rocco kind of tell you a little bit about specific routines for the beginner out there for exercising, if you're you're a walking stick, or if you're bigger than life, just routines for better health and lifting and motions that will help you build a better lifestyle, build a better body, baby steps. And I'm actually going to ask Rocco to put together a quick program, and we'll call it Rocco's program, and I'll put it down in the comment section following the end of this show. So for a routine from Rocco, made by Rocco, built for Rocco, but built for you out there, it's going to be down here in the comment section. So what are some of the tips and tricks, I guess, or trades words that you can put together for exercising for these people?
Well, first thing, you have to have access to a place to work out. Now, if you're going to be working out with weights, you have a gym, and or you have the weights that you get at home, and you'll set yourself the way you're able to, whatever financially you're able to do. So first thing off, you need a place to work out at. So once you have that all set, then what I like to do is I like to do a split. A split is what body parts you're working on what particular day. And I like to do a 3-day on, 1-day off split. And what I would do for my day number 1, I would do chest and triceps for day number 1. And on day number 2, I would do leg and biceps. And on day number 3, back and shoulders. Then day 4 would be your day off. Then you repeat that process. When you do a split like that, that's a 3-day on, 1-day off split, and you're only doing 2 body parts per day. On that type of split, you can do cardio on any morning or night, whenever it's better for you, that you want to. If you're trying to lean out, you can do cardio up to, every day if you want, but then monitor your progress, because if you're doing too much cardio, it has a definite effect on your muscle. If you're working on your muscle building phase, you can do 2-3 times a week on your choice. But the workouts, 3-day on, 1-day off. So that's a simple setup for me. So let's say we're looking at our day number 1. We're doing chest and triceps. Remember the rep range that we're talking about, 8 to 12. And I take about 3 exercises per body part. So if I'm going to do 3 exercises of chest, and look, you don't have to know these things in your brain. Search up online. Online, it tells you all the different exercises. So I'll just run some through you. 3 exercises for chest, 3 exercises for triceps. So we'll do flat bench press for exercise number 1. I do 3 sets, 8 to 12 reps. Then we do incline press or incline dumbbell press for a good switch up, same rep range. And then I would finish off with flat bench flies. Or you can switch it off with incline flies, but it's just a different kind of finisher move for your chest. On triceps, I would do skull crushers. I would do, let's say, press downs, and then a nice isolation on either kickbacks or cable, one arm cable triceps, and that'd be your day one split. And just remember, keep everything between that 8 to 12 rep range. And when I say 8 to 12 rep range, it's not, oh, I did 12, I'm done. No, it's the max amount of weight that you can get between 8 and 12. If you can get more than 12, increase the weight. If you can't get 8, decrease the weight. This has to be maximum effort on each rep. So that was day one. Day two, we got legs and biceps. So what I like to do squats, same, 8 to 12, 3 reps. And then I like to do leg extensions, leg curls, both of those, same rep range, but I got to do calves as well. So I do calves, and I do 3 sets. And sometimes calves are a little funny. They can be stubborn. So if you find this is one of those weird muscles you use all the time, you can go ahead and increase those reps and the weight. You know, go as heavy as you can, and if you can go past 12, just keep adding that weight because it's really going to build. Just make sure you warm up pretty good. So that'll be your legs. And then your biceps, I do straight bar curl, and you can do hammer curls, and then concentration curls. Those are your 3 exercises there. Remember, keeping those rep range, 8 to 12. And on your final day, you got shoulders and back. So what you do is, I like to start off with back because I like to stimulate. Too many people start off with their shoulders and their backs lag. I like to have a strong back, so back likes to, when people see you from behind, they're going to notice you. So I do bent over rows, and I like to do lat pulls or hammer strength lat pulls, and then bent over laterals where you're working that rear delt. Then I go straight over to the shrugs, and I do my shrugs. Then I do my military press or behind the neck press. And then I do dumbbell side laterals, or it could be like this, or if you have injury to your shoulders, you can do a lighter weight and go straight up like that. And you can finish off polishing with any moves you want. But that's basically each exercise for your 3 days on, 1 day off split. And remember, just rest from the weights on that 4th day. So.
And he said split. I'm like, I can't do a split. And then he explained it. Then I got calmed down a little bit. And then now I don't know what to do because I go to work and tell my boys, like, yeah, I did 100 reps. And I should have told them it was a 2-ounce weight. So great. So that in a nutshell will give you Rocco's workout routine. I'm going to put that in a Word document. So what I was saying is going to be down there. Instead of having him do that since it's there, I'm going to type it up. You should be able to click it, download it, print it, put it to use. This is the Poppa B show. This is Rocco. This is Your Health and Fitness and Workout Routines by Rocco. This is the Poppa B show, and we're out of here.
Thank you.
Take an extra 2 seconds to remind you all that early voting starts the 19th. So Monday the 19th, get out and vote if you want to get out and vote early. And make sure that you send in your ballots if you're going to do it by mail. Nothing is worse than an uncounted vote or a vote that was never sent in. That's a vote for the party that you didn't want in office. So without having any political affiliation or saying that who I want to win, the most important thing is that you actually get out and have your voice heard so that the person that you want to be POTUS will make it into office or stay in office. So make sure, get out and vote.